Fans of Aerosmith and Yungblud have received an early Christmas present in the form of a collaboration EP called One More Time. Are they back in the saddle again? I'll give you my take on it coming up next on Music Meanderings. Hi, I'm Mike Lamneck. This is Music Meanderings, and won't you take the time to please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell if you'd like to be notified of future Music Meanderings. It all helps the channel and is much appreciated. Well, British rock sensation Yungblud continues to rub elbows with rock royalty on the release of One More Time, an EP with Aerosmith. Now, Yungblud exploded on the English scene in 2018, but it's been a more gradual process to get recognized in America. The new EP does come at a time that he is gaining some success with Idols, that recent LP. It's actually up for the Best Rock Album Grammy in 2026, and he's finally making some headway in the U.S. Now, you can check out my video on Yungblud on the Music Meanderings channel for more details on his background. For Aerosmith, well, it marks their first new music in 13 years since Music from Another Dimension, and it comes a little more than a year since they announced their cancellation of their Peace Out Farewell tour due to the injury of Steven Tyler's vocal cords. He just can't sing on a regular basis as touring demands anymore. So they are kind of relegated at this point to being a studio band, but more on that coming up. Lead guitarist of Aerosmith, Joe Perry, says of Yungblud, "The kid's got it." He tells Guitar World magazine, "I hear a lot of music and there's a lot of great guitar players and bands out there, but Yungblud really has the stuff, so we thought we'd throw our lot in." So Perry says after realizing that they would have to retire from touring, they wanted to find some other creative ways to stay involved in the entertainment business. Well, about that time, Aerosmith manager Larry Rudolph's son became friends with Yungblud and Youngblood's manager. Well, one thing led to another, and the two acts eventually agreed to get together and see how things worked out. The guys had chemistry and instantly made a connection when they met up in the summer of 2024. Yungblud then pitched having Perry and Tyler join him on Hello Heaven Hello, which is the lead single and opening track from his album Idols. That eventually led to this 5-song EP released on November 21st, 2025. Well, the EP features 4 new songs written by Yungblud and his producer, and a remake of the Aerosmith classic Back in the Saddle. Now, My Only Angel, the advance release #1 rock single, opens up the album. Right out of the gate, you can tell it's a collaboration in its truest sense. Yungblud and Tyler's vocals really mesh so well together, it's difficult to distinguish them from one another at times. Problems, the second track, it sounds more like a Guns N' Roses song than Aerosmith, but a great rocker nonetheless. Starts with a little crowd noise and throws in some nice unexpected changes midway through. Wild Woman, that's a mid-tempo rocker that adds strings to the chorus to good effect. That's followed by 1,000 Days, a classic Aerosmith power ballad in the same vein as their 1987 hit Angel, and I think probably one of the better tracks on here. Back in the Saddle, the 2025 mix finishes things up. Now, that was the idea of Perry's wife, and it's the only track to include Aerosmith's other classic members, Tom Hamilton, Brad Whitford, and Joey Kramer. Although their parts were not recorded new, they were taken from the original recording and mixed with the new contributions from Tyler Perry and Yungblud. Now, I'm usually not a fan of this type of remake of classic songs. I mean, why not leave the original alone? However, in this case, it works out pretty well. It's better produced for one thing, but part of the charm of the original was kind of its rough and ragged quality. Some backing vocals are added here also, but at least they stopped short of throwing a rap in. Now, I've listened to the EP 3 times through. It clocks in at just under 20 minutes, and it is something I will listen to again. To me, though, it has more in common with Yungblud and where his music is going, rather than sounding like classic Aerosmith. And although it's credited as Aerosmith and not a Tyler Perry side project, as previously mentioned, the other members only show up in pre-recorded form on one track. It's hard telling what this will lead to in the future, but Yungblud and Aerosmith say they are excited to work together again, and there's other material already in the works. So who does this EP benefit the most other than the fans? Well, the first single, My Only Angel, went to #1 on the Billboard Rock Track chart, so U.S. rock audiences seem to be on board. I think both Aerosmith and Yungblud fans will find a lot to like here, and it really leaves you wanting more. The EP does come at a time when Yungblud is just on the rise in the U.S., although, regrettably, some of his U.S. tour dates did have to be canceled due to health issues. Could this lead to Aerosmith going back on the road with Yungblud singing instead of Tyler, or even alongside him? It's happened before. There was a similar situation with the band Boston, as Brad Delp was no longer able to hit those high notes on the original tunes when they toured, so they brought in singer Fran Cosmo to sing alongside him on tour. Some interesting questions arise now, and I think Yungblud and Aerosmith are waiting to see where the road leads them. Aerosmith manager Larry Rudolph tells Billboard magazine that the EP turned out far above and beyond whatever expectations they had going into it. And he says it's given Aerosmith a jolt of new excitement and purpose. So what do you think of the new EP's original songs and the remake of Back in the Saddle? Please comment below, subscribe, and hit the bell to be notified of more music meanderings.